Alright, degenerates, real quick, before you watch this video, just be aware, I am here at the end of the video, editing it, and I'm just gonna let you know, you're probably good to just, like, stick in an earbud and listen, because this is nothing more than a cohesion of thoughts, alright? There's barely a straight narrative to this. So, just be warned. Okay, degenerates. All right, let's talk about the apocalypse of Counter-Strike. And not only of just Counter-Strike, like we are talking like the apocalypse of Valve, all right? Like this is such a tinfoil hat theory. Let's go back to where this idea originated from, right? So the video I made a few videos back, where I explained how Valve can go ahead and just completely destroy the economy of Counter-Strike. Say they do all that. Let's say they get every skin, every item. Let's say they get it all the way down to under $2,000. What would be the next step? How would Valve then get a monopoly onto the market? Well, it's pretty simple. And as you can see in the title of the video, all they gotta do is ban trading, baby. Okay, now let's talk about what the realistic ramifications of that are, though. Because it's not as simple as, oh, nobody else can gamble, and oh, nobody else can trade their skins to their friends or whatever. No, it's a little bit bigger. Oh, and also for this scenario, let's just go ahead and set a ground rule here. The only way that you'd be able to sell your skins, swap your skins with someone else or anything, is to put it on the community market, all right? Let's just say that's the only way you can do it. That means Valve is in complete control, and if they're in complete control, oh dear God, this might be our new reality. Not only the sticker shop, right? So like not even with sticker shops, say if they started releasing new skins like this, where they didn't even release a terminal, they didn't do anything like that. They just released skins with this system. Now, don't get me wrong. It's not that the armory still wouldn't be a thing. At the end of the day, if Valve completely got rid of trading and made it all in-house and making it so the only way that you can actually get like quote unquote money for your skins is through the Steam community market, well, I'm gonna be real, that's GG for a lot of people. Like, don't get me wrong, it's already been GG for a lot of people with the knife update and now with the souvenir update. If you also incorporate any of the ideas from the last video, rather that be a knife skin transfer tool or a trade down contract or them re-releasing high tier skins in the armory, like, come on. At that point, I think most of the high-end market, the high-end traders, the people who are buying these high-end skins, I think they're gone from the economy already. And then Valve just putting the nail in the coffin with banning trading, well, at that point, there's nothing more to it. You got to think of a macro scale of them banning trading. It's not only them banning trading, it's them also eliminating gambling, which would be the primary goal of banning trading, is to get rid of all the gambling aspect to the game. Okay, and now let's actually get into what that would mean is, again, with the gambling aspect, right? So they're already removing cases, replacing it with terminals. They're removing the sticker capsules, replacing it with this dynamic, stupid fucking system. Because if I may remind you guys, again, a big gold, as you can see, is $1,000. Why? Why is it $1,000? I get why it is. I get that the system uses the souvenirs, but if you wanted to buy a big gold right now, you know, I'll show you where we're in the tournament. It's a $1,200 item. Jesus. And again, we are currently right here in the tournament, right? All these games are being played. Maybe if I refresh. Okay, cool. Nothing. Oh, it's G2. Okay, yeah. The G2 and Foot game are going on right now, as you can see. All right, cool. So they're going into a third map. Cool. So that's where we're at right now in the real timeline. But anyway, getting back to my point. We've already seen Valve go ahead and make the implementation to get rid of gambling in the game, which, you know, it is what it is, but at the end of the day, gambling in Counter-Strike kind of become I don't know, synonymous? I mean, listen, even I've been a victim to it when I took a certain vacation. We don't talk about that though. We don't talk about the Dragon Lore. But anyway, now I'm not saying that it's a good thing, a bad thing, one way or another, the whole gambling aspect about the game. But I will say that it is integral to the game. Hell, if you look at it, most of these teams right here have a gambling sponsor in one way or another. If I remember correctly, I think it was G2 who had a gambling sponsor, and that created a ruckus at a major in events past. And that was like against, I can't remember, what was it, like GGBet and CSGO Empire or some shit like that. And you know, it's just at the forefront of the news. And then you also got that New York lawsuit going on. And I could understand why Valve would be getting away from it. Now, the way you could really just snip everything at the bud is by, you know, just you eliminate trading, which means that eliminates gambling. Now, they could like do a soft implementation of this where make it so only friends can trade and strangers can't trade. I don't know how well that would work though, because it just seems like a really easy way to get around that. Just, you know, adding a friend, and that's part of the requirement. People who want to gamble are going to do it. I mean, you know, it's what it is. So I don't even know if that would even be possible with that kind of reasoning, that kind of thought process. I don't know if that would actually work out. But again, it's just clear to see where Valve is going with this, where they're just trying to get away from gambling. Now, the stickers here have just made the player base panic even more. Because yes, don't get me wrong, the souvenir update, that was so easy to call. I called it the night before it happened. And, you know, I wasn't thinking it was going to happen for like another 6 months to a year. But then the night before it happened, I was just like, you know what? We'll just finish our red loadout. We'll go ahead and buy a few things. The red DD Pat was a very nice thing to get for 14 bucks and sell for 70. But I digress. So yeah, with Valve trying to get rid of gambling in the game, again, some people feel like they would also try and go ahead and decrease the rarity of items as well to, you know, get everything onto the Steam market. And again, I've already explained those other theories. Now, from there, it does make sense. I don't want it to make sense, but it would make sense for them to then try and completely monopolize the market and then make it so you can't even trade with others. Because that's the only way that these third-party sites are even able to make a profit here, is that they get these skins and then people spend money on their site, so Valve doesn't see any of that money, right? So people spend money on their site to buy said skins, right? But if you can't even trade anymore, then at that point, not only are the gambling sites affected, but so are all the trading sites. And say what you want about, you know, gambling in this game. Yeah, third-party gambling sites, you know, they are what they are. I've dabbled with them, you know, while abroad, but doesn't mean you should, by the way. Again, we don't talk about the Dragon Lore, right? But, you know, it is what it is. So if Valve were to completely get rid of all trading, well, there's a lot of problems here, because a lot of these majors, a lot of the tournaments are sponsored by gambling sponsors. And not only gambling sponsors, but they're also sponsored by skin trading sites as well. So at that point, how are the majors going to make their money? Like, how is the professional scene going to make their money? Yes, they have fans, but they don't bring in all the money. The sponsors do, the advertisers do. And with the current state of things, I don't see like Coke like supporting any type of major. I don't see Pepsi or any like big sponsor to support a major like that. Not only that, this is an FPS game, which if I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure the Olympics are open to esports, but they said that FPSs weren't allowed. Now, if that is the case, then that means, sadly, our game of choice here could never become a Olympic type of esport, which is sad. But also, that would be awesome. Could you imagine, like, fucking, that is the major of all majors, you know? I'm just saying. Imagine if Counter-Strike could be played at the Olympics. Like, you know, that is the major of all majors every 4 years. Like, don't get me wrong, a major is great, but that just added a whole new level. So yeah, that is just something to keep in mind, is if Valve does go that point, what happens to all the sponsors? What happens going forward to this game? Because ultimately, you eliminate trading, there's too much negative effects compared to positive effects, in my opinion. Yes, on the one hand, nobody would be able to gamble their skins, and it looks like Valve is going away from trading. Now, what they're doing with this bullshit, if this becomes the future, oh, it's over. It's actually over. Nobody will care. Nobody will care. Nobody will come back. We will all go play Valorant. Goodbye. But, hey, that's just my opinion. That's my 2 cents on the matter. Yeah, that's really all I have. I know it was kind of all over the place, but, you know. Anyway, if you would like to support me, Patreon link down below in the description. Like, comment, subscribe. You do you. Goodbye.